Hello, welcome back to Jubes & Co with me, Dawn Neesom, keeping me company until 7 o'clock, not just you, but former Conservative advisor James Price and chair of the London Green Party, Eugene McCarthy. So the Gorton and Denton by-election, was it the dirtiest in history? I mean, it's a fairly low bar, most of them have not been great, but this one does seem to have a lot of controversy attached to it. To start with, Labour reshared an edited clip on X of the Reform candidate Matt Goodwin. Have a look at this one.
I was lucky enough, or unfortunate enough, to be in Manchester a few days ago, and the energy in this room is 10 times what it was in Manchester, so congratulations.
Now, in reality, the video had been taken out of context as Goodwin was actually referring to audiences at the Conservative Party conference. Bit naughty there. Meanwhile, Labour was also accused of inventing a fictitious tactical voting group to convince left-wing voters to choose them over the Greens to keep Reform from winning. Oh, we don't have a clip of that one. OK, but the Greens' own conduct was hardly spotless, with their candidate, Hannah Spencer, outrageously claiming that Matt Goodwin, I found this one particularly upsetting, that Matt Goodwin's divisive politics had caused the Manchester Arena bombing. The party even put out this campaign video.
চলমান রেখেছি কিন্তু রাজনৈতিক নেতারা আমাদের জন্য কাজ করছেন না বিল বাড়ছে
OK, that's in Urdu and features images of Keir Starmer shaking hands with Indian PM Narendra Modi. And Reform's Matt Goodwin narrowly avoided a fine over a leaflet presented as being from a concerned neighbour, which did not state it was sent on behalf of his party. His barrister described the omission as an honest admin error by the printing company. It has to be said, James, and we're just chatting about this in the break, that no party has covered themselves in glory in this by-election. But why is that? Why has this one been so dirty? Is politics in this country now in such a mess that we're resorting to these tactics?
I think so. I think the Labour Party have proven that they are totally incapable of governing, and the Green Party therefore have seen a great opportunity to come in and supplant them, just as Reform are attempting to do to the Conservatives. So you've got the two historic parties of government at some of their weakest levels, both in terms of polling and in terms of popularity and things like that. You've got a constituency which, I mean, despite the fact that we had the constituencies redrawn recently, are basically two completely different places.
Yes.
So you've got a kind of a perfect battleground for the sectarianism being built in there. This place also does have a very high Muslim population, and so maybe lends itself to these kind of things. I'd like to hear from Eugene why it was that Narendra Modi, the PM of India, and the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, and Steve Bannon, the one-time brief chief of staff that Donald Trump featured in that video, what that's got to do about the cost of living and local doorstep issues there.
Yeah, or potholes in Gorton.
Right.
I mean, what's their take on the potholes?
They're always a core part of the campaign. Potholes.
They weren't mentioned. They weren't mentioned.
It's that Netanyahu causing all those potholes.
In this one video. But no, I think that it's perfectly reasonable that as politicians we take stances on things that people care about, and these are issues that people are really, really passionate about. You know, you might disagree with them, but you know, these are the stances of the Green Party. That, you know, some of the rhetoric going on in India at the moment, where they have, you know, anti-Muslim pogroms, you know, it's very, very hurtful for a lot of these people who still have family in the country, and you know, it's an important issue that we speak to people where they're at.
So this is what really worried me, and I was afraid you were going to say this. And again,
using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
I appreciate the level of candour here, but what you're saying is that the lowest, most base ideas that are scaring people in this constituency, and we're going to say, do you know what? The Green Party hasn't hitherto had a particular stance on the India versus Pakistan and the contentious border regions that these people fight over and these foreign policies from very, very far away places. But because we can get votes about it, we're going to say what we need to get your votes. And this is what Zach Polanski's done. I said before, he used to be a Liberal Democrat, didn't get very far there. He's managed to come and sweep in at the Green Party because he saw it maybe as a bit more of a blank slate that he could impose whatever half-baked ideas he's got on these things, goes to this area and says, what do you guys care about? I'm just going to say that in order to win. And that is just, I think, another step down from how much more base our politics have become. When politicians used to say, I believe in this and I'm going to try and convince you that I'm right and therefore you're going to vote for me, rather than chasing all of those votes.
Great point.
The way the Green Party works, we're really quite different compared to other parties. Every single policy that we have has to go through our membership and go through conference to be voted on. So none of these things are things that we've just picked up on to win some votes. They're deeply held stances that we have, among them being international justice. You know, we believe in a peaceful foreign policy. So you're saying the Green
Party agreed to use the Manchester bombing and try and lay the blame to that, to the rhetoric that comes from the right. You're saying your party agreed that?
I think
that's really offensive.
I don't think it was the best wording for it, but I think that regardless, there is a point that...
Would you like to apologise for that one? Because that was really offensive. I'm going to tell you...
I don't think it was the best way to get the point across, but yeah, I mean, it's
the parents of the children that died in that are owed an apology by the Green Party, surely.
I think it's it's something that we need to work with everybody on, and I think that everyone is... Like, as a country, we have failed that these things have been allowed to happen. You know, it's obviously, I don't think it's Matt Goodwin in particular. I think at the time he was working with Hope Not Hate against the people who are now in Reform.
This was a radicalised Islamic terrorist who blew up children.
I don't think we can deny that at all.
It was nothing to do with Reform or Matt Goodwin or any of the right in this country.
No, not at all, not at all. I completely agree with you. I think that, you know, we need to be clear about... as a party, I think we have a very clear stance on non-violence throughout. But
this is the point James was making, the fact that that was considered acceptable to say that, to use that. This is the level that the Green Party have sunk to get votes.
I don't think so. I think it's an issue that a lot of people face, you know, on both sides of the community. Well, really, everyone in Manchester has been so horribly affected by it.
Of course.
I don't think that's the sort of best approach to take. I think that we need to come together against these sorts of things and not throw the blame at people who, you know, have nothing to do with it. I do think that we need to tone down the rhetoric across the board. I think that...
So would you like to apologise now to the families of those children that were murdered in that?
I don't think it was meant with any malice.
But it was done.
I think that...
I know you personally didn't say, you didn't authorise it, but that the Green Party used that to get votes.
I don't think it was to get votes. I think there's a serious issue that we have with this polarisation and divisiveness, and it's very much the intention that we break down past that. You know, we don't want... obviously, horrendous terror attacks from Islamists in wherever, especially so close to home. But at the same time, you know, we don't want our communities, various communities across the country, to be targeted with hateful division. And
nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. OK, well, we will come back after a quick break, but first just want to read out a few statements. On the edited video, a Labour spokesman has previously said Nigel Farage has repeatedly bemoaned the policing of tweets, yet he is now begging the authorities to look at a clip of his divisive candidate's own words. It is laughable as it is sad. Labour did not try to deny that it had made up the tactical voting group, but a campaign spokesman has said the Greens have been pumping out fake news and deploying dirty tactics for weeks. We'll take no lectures from them.